Oh.
Just thinking about it.
Come on.
Come on, YouTube. Taking forever today.
Come on, I want my beer.
No, yeah, no kidding. Hey, there we are. There we are. That only took like 45 seconds. Ugh. We are live. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 201. Your once weekly live.
See, you've only done this 200 times before.
I know. Live stop? What the heck was I thinking there? Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 201, your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Anchor.fm or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, usually some Star Trek. We will read all super chats on the air so long as they will not demonetize my channel. And we do drink alcohol on the show. And if you're drinking with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the early goings and we'll give some shout outs as we go along. And last but not least, if you want to take part in the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about heading over to Floatplane or Patreon. Links are both down in the video description. As an exclusive bonus, you can get access to my Discord server where you can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and keep the party going with the awesome community over there.
Woo woo! Party!
Second time's a charm.
There we go. I always feel like a flight attendant, just like, how do I point? Do I point to my left? Talk descriptions? Because for me, the descriptions are below, and then I say chat's to my side, but could be down below for somebody. I just feel like an air stewardess, you know?
Doing the pre-flight checks.
Yeah. Your comment section is at the back row.
Please open your own beer before opening your beer for others. Totally. I get that vibe. How's it going, John?
I'm pretty tired. Exciting news for me. Stuff's going on this week. I don't know how long I'm gonna be here actually. Yeah. So I got a new studios in the work within the next, 6 weeks or so. So maybe I'll have a moving vlog video one day.
You know, if you need a place to store your beer.
I gave you one beer to store a year and a half ago.
I still have it for the record. I still have it. See,
I know.
I am the picture of trustworthiness.
Technically, yes. It's still technically stored.
I still have it, so I don't know what you're complaining about.
Yeah, you're just aging it.
Right? Oh, I've had an interesting couple of days. All the stuff that goes on for running a business that's not scripting videos and testing cool projects and messing with servers and editing and whatnot. There's other things involved in running your own full-time business. And I spent yesterday doing that. And then today, I actually did a little bit of contract work this afternoon, headed out and did some network stuff for the first time in a very long time. And that was a lot of fun. Was
it for a brewery?
It was not for a brewery. But yeah, I know. Put some miles on the Z car. That was a lot of fun. Found a new, really good road. Now, unfortunately, it's quite a bit south from me. I found it on a whim. It's like, yeah, we'll turn here and we'll go the back way to where I'm going. And holy crap, that was a good road. There's like this 1.5 mile straightaway that's flat with nothing but farmland, not even driveways on either side. And that kind of comes to the crest of a hill and drops down, and it goes down for about a 1/2 mile. And then there's this wicked set of S curves right at the bottom of it. It's like, yeah. I did a full 1, 2, 3 red line pull on that road.
You're getting luck.
It was a good day.
Yeah, it's nice too. It's supposed to rain here in the next couple of days too, so got it in at the right time.
Yep. Yeah.
We need it. We need some rain.
Yeah, I went and broke the dust loose on the Z car with the top down, probably for one of the last days this year. So
yeah,
it was a good time though. I pulled up and met a friend of mine who I was doing the work for, and he goes, "Which way did you come in from?" And I went, "That road right there." And he goes, And I said, that's a good road. That's a really good road.
Busted out, like, yeah, this is why I bought the Z car.
Yep. I used to joke about when I was commuting that I bought the Z car actually as a commuter car. It was supposed to be a fun 2-seater, but more importantly, it was a car that got me better gas mileage than my truck. So my truck got like 16 miles the gallon. The Z car, if I didn't put my foot into it and I just drove it like a commuter, you drive it like a Honda Civic, it would get 27 miles the gallon. Like it, not a slouch at all. Yeah. And it ran great for that. Well, since I work from home now, hold on. If I put my foot into it and if I had fun, through like I had a really good fun drive every once in a while, I'd get 23, 22 maybe. Like the worst mileage I ever got was like 21 and a half.
Okay.
Since I now only drive it for fun or only drive when I'm going a good distance to go do some work for someone or whatever else.
You always drive it for fun.
I'm getting like 18 and a half now. It's awful.
Passing everyone.
But so much fun. God, I love that car.
You're not even playing your racing simulator anymore. Like, this is real life.
Yeah. Well, end of last summer, I put all new tires, all new brakes, all new suspension, new exhaust on it, had it lowered by 1.5 inches. Man, it just hugs the road now. It's got fresh rubber. It brakes really well. I didn't go like full ceramic brakes, but I did put on like a step up from your standard brakes. That and the guy before me had put a lot of the Nismo replacement parts from the 350Z Nismo. And so I have the Roadster, which didn't come with the Nismo option, but I have the Nismo sway bars and body roll stabilizers and a whole bunch of other stuff.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, cold air exhaust or cold air intake, cold air exhaust. That'd be weird. Yeah, so
my engine's not running hot. This is odd.
Yeah, so it's a fun car. It's a really fun car. But anyway, my throat is dry.
Yes.
And
I could use a beer.
Gosh darn it. I could use a beer. John, why don't you get us started?
All right. I am going to be pulling in some double anchorage today because it is a theme that they have. They have a cats versus dogs. So this is Team Cat, a double dry hopped IPA with Galaxy, Strata, and Mosteca, 6.4. And then the next one will be Team Dog.
Okay.
So I believe it's the same base beer, different double hop, dry hop.
Okay. So, yeah, that's pretty typical for a lot of Anchorage stuff. They like to do like, here's our base recipe, and then we'll change it up with the hop, and we'll call it 10 different beers. Now, to be fair, they're 10 very different beers when they do that.
And that base recipe too are usually just amazing.
Yeah. In fact, last night I had an Anchorage last night. I'm trying to remember which one it was. This Way Out, I want to say. Something like that. Yeah. It was a good beer, though.
No, they always, I mean, I don't even recall having a bad beer from them. I even had like a Pilsner or a white wheat from them. And like, this is just odd for, Anchorage to do. And I was like, this is pretty good.
Right.
What do you got?
I think I'm going to start with a Pilsner.
Okay.
Which is weird for me. I don't drink a lot of Pilsners. But I saw this one and decided to grab it, so we'll see how it is. So this is from Breakside up here in Portland. This is the Unbearable Lightness Summer Pilsner. So saw this on the shelf and went, you know what? Into summer, I think that's a good call. So I've not had this one before.
Well, you're on a kind of a Pilsner streak. Haven't you had like 2 decent Pilsners recently?
I have.
And so...
Gosh, what was that? What was that one I had like 2 weeks ago?
Was it something hen?
Yeah.
From that brewery? Fence hen, chicken hen?
Fence hen.
I don't remember. You were bragging about.
Yeah, I paid like $5 for a Pilsner, and I said I would do that again.
Yeah.
Like, Like, I would buy that with some IPAs. Now, this 4-pack was $14.
Ooh.
It's a spendy Pilsner. 4.4%, by the way. 4.4%. So we're not into the ABV, so it better have a good body and flavor. That's what I would say.
I don't know. We'll see.
All right. What do we got for some beer shout-outs here?
I saw Novella Hub is drinking a Trinity Brewhouse Belgian Strawberry Strong Ale, 12.5. Beating us both, even if we combined ours.
Yeah. I think that's higher than both of my pints combined. Yeah. Both my pints combined are at 10.6.
Let's see. I think that actually, both of mine are 6.4. So 12.8.
Yeah.
So I barely beat them.
Yeah, I've got a 6.2 and a 4.4.
Yeah. So we got William is having Folks and Fable Bourbon Barrel Aged Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet, sorry.
It's all right. I live in wine country, so.
Whatever.
Yeah. In fact, that's where I was bombing corners through today. Was
Champagne.
Can I interest you in any champagne?
We got Skull is having a Surly Brewing Company Mapping the Multiverse, a hazy IPA.
T-Cause has a New Glarus Moon Man.
Nice. Magic Rat is having Bell's Two-Hearted Ale, or as Rhett likes to call it, Two-Farted.
Two-Farted Ale. All right. So here's that Pilsner.
Hey, look at that. Nice and clear.
Yeah, super, super clear. How do I describe that color without getting into like bathroom talk?
Light Mountain Dew.
Yeah. It is almost a green. You know what? We'll call it a light Mountain Dew. I think it's
Diet Dew.
It's a better, yeah, there you go. It's a Diet Dew. No, this is Mountain Lightning.
Okay.
This is like the Safeway.
The Safeway,
Kroger,
Walmart, Sam's, Sam's Choice, Rock Mountain or whatever.
Not bad.
Is it worth your? Well, now was it $14 plus deposit, including deposit?
No, I think it was almost 15 after deposit.
Ooh, yeah, that 40 cents.
Yeah, because it was $14.40 and then so plus 40 for 80. So yeah,
so almost
$15.
Ouch.
Yeah, almost $4 a pint. $3.75 a pint.
Still okay. That's not horrible. That's a typical beer. I mean, $3.75, although it is 4.4%. So.
If I went to a tap house and I paid $3 on draft for that, I don't think I would be disappointed.
You wouldn't pay $3 for that?
Yeah.
That's a $5 beer.
Yeah. That's my problem, is that's a $5 beer. At $5, $4, oof. That's a hard one.
Yep. Now, I guess I always, if I ever get one of those beers, and I know you guys always rag me on it, but then I try to think, okay, hang on. Let me put it in perspective, like, okay, would it pair well with a food? And then if I had it in this scenario, it's a good beer. But right now, currently, it's not. It doesn't, is it a pizza beer? Is it because a lot of those crisp pilsners go really good with greasy and some spicy foods. This
is not that crisp.
Really?
Yeah, it's clingy. It's thick. I mean, there's kind of like, there's this lightness when you're done with it, but I wouldn't call it crisp. This is not like shandy material or Radler material at all. I would not mix grapefruit soda with this.
Trying to stand on its own.
Right. Yeah. Just, it's not great. Definitely disappointed for $4.
Well, for $4, Heavy Palms is giving you a super chat and is paying you back.
All right.
Been forever. Got a promotion. Y'all rock. Roll Tide.
I agree with almost everything you said.
Well, see, there's your money back.
At least
for one of the beers.
At least you didn't say War Eagle. I think War Eagle's an instant ban. But so Roll Tide, okay. Yeah.
Not an Alabama fan.
Tell you what, John, let's go ahead and get into the beer or into the news.
Okay.
When we get to the beer talk, remind me, I have a couple of packages back here that I have had since May that I haven't opened. They're still I received beer mail like 4 months ago, and I feel so bad because every week I look at that and go, oh right, I need to open that on the show, and then I forget. And I've even like set them on my desk before. They've been like right here. and I went the entire show and I signed off and I went
just letting anyone know, if you sent me beer mail, I would never do that. I would open it first thing and be like, Jeff, screw the introduction, check out this beer mail I got.
Right.
Send it to me instead of Jeff.
Right. So the other issue was that my fridges were completely full. Well, I've actually been working my way down, and so
and then you go and buy a 4-pack of Pilsners.
Right, and then I bought a 4-pack of Pilsner. I was hoping it would be like a good fall beer, but it totally is
Jeff,
not.
You can always store your beer with me.
Yeah. Now, I will say these have been stored here in my office, so the office stays usually around 68 to 70, so like perfect cellaring temperature. They're not going to expire or go bad or anything like that, unless it's like a whole bunch of like fruited sours or some crap like that.
Yeah, if it's like a fruited sour or active yeast, then it's going to blow up, but...
No, only your cans do that.
It was one can that did that in your office.
It was multiple cans.
Oh, I know. It was, yeah.
Because it happened over multiple weeks. So John, we were getting a beer package together for one of our patrons who had done a bunch of stuff for us. And we're like, you know what, let's do something nice and send him some beer. And so I was collecting the beer to package up, and so John got me like a couple of Anchorages, and then he put like 4 homebrews in there. And I remember sitting in my office.
I put Camden tablets in it,
and all of a sudden I hear pong, and I went, what the hell was that? And I'm like running out the front of the house thinking like someone just threw a softball at my garage door, or like something just hit my house. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, there's no marks. My cars are fine. No alarms went off. The motion light didn't go off. I don't know. And so I went back upstairs. And then a couple days later, I'm sitting in my office and pong.
Well, that was the second one, I think, wasn't it during like Talking Heads or right afterwards?
One of them was during a show or immediately before.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but it was all like in a box, ready to be shipped out, and so none of it spilled out from the box, but they had blown their tops off and just kind of like gotten
fizzled out just a little bit,
and a little bit in the bags that I'd put them in, and so there was no like nothing leaking in my office or anything like that. But yeah, for like 2 weeks, every once in a while I would hear ping and like something metal hitting my house. It's the weirdest damn sound.
I swear I put Candom tablets in it. I just guess I didn't do enough. Well, it was also your old house in the old studio upstairs, which didn't have air conditioning. And it was like 80 degrees up there.
Yeah, no, the last office was awful for...
Yeah, I remember sweating up there when we had to do live.
There was one show in particular, last story, and then I swear we'll get into the news, but it's a slow news week, so we're kind of stretching the intro. There was one Wednesday in particular that I shut so I had portable air conditioner unit, one of the floor standing ones, and I would shut off the AC at night and open the windows and turn on fans, because even in the summer, Oregon gets down to like 60, 65. You know, a nice cool breeze blows through. And so at night, I would turn off the AC, open the windows, cool off the house that way. And then in the morning before I left for work, I would turn the AC back on. I left for work Wednesday morning and realized I'd forgotten to turn the AC on. And so I texted my wife and said, hey, before you leave, can you turn the AC on? She goes, yeah. Well, she went upstairs and turned the AC on, but somehow either she did or I did, I'm assuming I did, knocked the blower vent out of the wall socket. And so it spent the next 12 hours pumping hot exhaust air into my office. Steve was on that night. I got to my office. It was 98 inside my office.
Yeah, didn't you guys even like bust out a thermometer?
Yeah.
During the show,
Yeah.
you were like, check how hot it is.
It was, yeah, the surface temperature of my table was 95 degrees. It was awful. We still did the show.
Yep. You sit there and think back of 200 episodes, like, man, actually, yeah, we've gone through a lot of stupid stuff.
Yep. There's been a lot of weird happenings. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the news. Starting with Apple had a day yesterday. I'm not going to call it Apple Day. I'm not even going to call it an announcement because, well, you have to develop new products for it to be an announcement. So Apple had a Tuesday. First and foremost, this wasn't announced yesterday because yesterday was ooh rah rah, look at how awesome we are, please give us more money. Yesterday was all about the iPhone 13, the iPhone 13 Pro, and the iPhone 13 Pro Max, some of the weirdest damn names in the industry.
I'm taking it from Intel. But
I digress. And today, Apple issued an emergency iOS 14 update as a security fix and urge all iPhone owners to immediately upgrade their phones. The reason being is it was disclosed that there is basically a security hole in Apple's PDF reader inside Safari, which could lead to the execution of arbitrary code, which is industry talk for we can like take over your device or install malware or do whatever we want. So if you have an iPhone, please go update it. There was also a security patch for watchOS, macOS Big Sur 11.6, and macOS Catalina, all of which suffered the same vulnerability because all macOSs now share the same base kernel.
Yeah, so it's not just like you said, iPhones, but it's basically any Apple device. It was a vulnerability with the iMessage, their messenger, and so basically anything that has that messenger or uses that is vulnerable. Yeah, and you need to go do this now. Basically, you don't even need to click on the message; they just need to send you. Essentially, this company, or whoever, if they're going to use this hack, would literally just need to send you a file, and that is it. Yeah, you don't even have to open it. They just need to send it to you, and then they theoretically could get access to your device.
Right. Let's see. We did get a $10 super chat from William. War Eagle, what do you have against Auburn? I live in Oregon. I was born in Eugene.
Duck for life.
Duck for life. Not exactly happy about the old 2011 game. And the reason I'm not happy about the 2011 game is as follows. So Oregon played in the Fiesta Bowl 3 times. Now it's been 4, but basically played in that stadium 4 times. The first time was against Colorado in the 2001 Fiesta Bowl, in which we should have been in the national title game against Miami, and we steamrolled Colorado, 38-16 or something like that, and we allowed the best rushing attack in the nation 48 yards. Right, Oregon can play defense sometimes, weird. In that game, Maurice Morris had like the back-breaking touchdown run, which was 51 yards. He gets the ball and just runs off tackle left and runs up the sideline, and it looks like the safety's going to make a tackle because the safety dives at him right around the 20-yard line or so. Maurice Morris sits down on the safety. A linebacker tries to dive over the top of him. While Maurice Morris is sitting on the safety, the linebacker completely misses. So Maurice stands back up and walks into the end zone. Like, should have been down. He was like balancing on top of the guy and never hit the ground. So he just stood right back up and walked right into the end zone. That was in the same stadium. Fast forward to, I believe it was the Fiesta Bowl against Kansas State. But basically the same thing happened with I'm forgetting the running back's name now. Blunt, with LeGarrette Blunt. He did basically the same thing, where he laid on top of a guy, and in fact, in this one, his knee like swung across the ground, and they have a beautiful slow motion picture of his knee doing this and never touching while he's rolling over the top of a guy. And he stood back up and walked in for a touchdown. Same stadium. Then Oregon goes to face Auburn in the national title game, and we lose to that freak play. Like, I've only seen that happen like 3 times in my life, and one of them cost me a national title. And Oregon did the other 2 to other teams to break their will. So I'm a little salty still. There you go.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a big college football fan or anything, but
no, he doesn't know anything from like 2000. He can't quote you players from 2011 or 2019,
1998 or 1994. No, fair catch, Michael Fletcher.
Jeff has nothing invested into college football here at Oregon.
Nothing.
Never even held season tickets. Doesn't even enjoy football.
Only had season tickets for 5 years.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Not
until they won their Rose Bowl, and then they
jacked the price up.
Literally year over year, more than doubled the ticket price for my season tickets. And I went, before I was paying, I think it was $4.50 for a pair. I was sitting up about a third of the way up in the stadium, right near the end zone. Beautiful seats, could see the entire field. Great area. And I'm like, you know what? $450 per year, not that bad of an investment for 6 or 7 Saturdays where I can go down and hang out with friends and bring family down and that kind of thing. Those tickets went from $450 to $1,200, literally like over the course of 2 years. And I went, $1,200 buys a really nice TV. So that's what I did.
It was like, I can. Oh look, well, that would have been still 1080. 4K. 2K would have been out.
It was still 1080.
Yeah,
it was still 1080. In fact, that's the TV that's in my office right now.
Wow.
It's an LG 55-inch, first generation HDR. Does like HDR 600 with local dimming zone, LED backlight, and that kind of thing. 120 hertz, true 120 hertz, 1080p. Beautiful display. Like I love this screen. But yeah, I went $1,200 buys a really nice TV, and I don't have to drive an hour and a half south. So there you go. What were we talking about? Oh, right.
Apple Day.
Apple Tuesday.
Yes.
Not even Ruby Tuesday. Apple Tuesday. One of the announcements that I was kind of excited for is Apple has announced that they are bringing ProRes video recording to the iPhone 13 Pro and iPhone 13 Pro Max. This is actually kind of a big deal. ProRes isn't RAW, but it does give you a much wider dynamic range in recording. You can record flatter video for better color correction in post. It just gives you a lot more flexibility in both what you're shooting and what your post-production can be.
It's a very robust
picture. I shoot with ProRes. I usually shoot ProRes 422 on my camera here. And that's the way my videos look when they're all done, when they're all color graded and everything else, is they look fantastic. So ProRes coming to Apple phones is not big deal. It is a big deal. But there is a catch to this one, and that's that you have to have a 256 gigabyte model of either of these phones to record in ProRes.
Yeah, you're going to need the storage.
Right. Well, actually, ProRes is surprisingly a decent codec for recording, especially if you record in ProRes Lite. There's a ProRes Lite, which is actually in some ways more efficient than H.264, which is what a lot of phones still record in. So, yeah, but they're saying, nope, sorry, you can't have full ProRes on the 128 gigabyte model, because why would we give you a feature that wasn't arbitrarily locked out based on the storage that you have. No, we're going to lock that down only to our 256 gigabyte customers. You know, the true Apple enthusiasts.
Yeah,
for the best possible customer experience.
I mean, you know how many people are probably just going into a Best Buy or some Apple store and just being like, yeah, give me the iPhone Pro, 13 Pro. And they're expecting to get the best feature. And without even doing any research, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I got the best camera ever. It's like, hang on, which one do you actually have?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is kind of like getting pulled, you know, the wool's over your eyes. You're getting pulled the fast one. Sorry. Fast one getting pulled over you. I don't know. Yeah, it's unless they're making this a blatant announcement, which I haven't heard. I remember hearing that the camera is going to be amazing and everything like that, but all I ever heard was, you know, usually it's the standard version and then the pro version, where the lighter version usually doesn't have that feature. It didn't matter about storage or anything else like that. The lighter version just needed to be smaller, compact. So that's why they couldn't fit the extra camera or whatever feature, because they needed it to be smaller, where the other two, it was more of a size issue. Now it's a storage capacity, which we all know storage capacity, it's microscopic. You know, it is tiny. They don't need to do any of that. So this is just, they're wanting to sell more. Yeah. And it's a jerk move.
This is an upsell. It's a bit of a jerk move. Yeah, but I'm slightly upset by that move because, yes, Apple has arbitrarily charged exorbitant prices for memory upgrades in the past. We know that. Almost every company does that. Dell does it. HP does it. Most phone companies do it. Apple does it. Apple created that. But locking out a software feature because one phone has more storage than another, that's rubbing me the wrong way. That really is. In other news, Microsoft is taking a harder stance when it comes to TPM, so tamper protection module, in requiring TPM 2.0 modules for installation of Windows 11. Now, I can tell you, I've had no problems installing Windows 11 without TPM. It seems to be a very simple bypass on the installer. It's probably a matter of just modifying an XML file in your ISO download, or in my case, just loading it onto a Windows deployment server and saying, yeah, install onto this hardware. And it goes, okay, and installs, because Windows Deployment Services doesn't give one rip if it's Windows 11 or Windows 7 or Windows XP. It'll still deploy it. But the fact that Microsoft is doubling down is going to lead to technical problems, customer confusion, and a variety of other things when it comes to Windows 11 being available for older devices, older PCs.
Yeah.
So they sent out this helpful guide that says, yeah, we need to talk about TPM 2.0 and Windows 11. To enable TPM on your PC, go to Settings, Update and Security, Recovery, and Restart Now. Troubleshoot advanced options, UEFI firmware settings, restart. Find the setting in your BIOS labeled security or trusted computing and look for enable TPM.
Easy.
So basically, restart your computer with extra modes enabled. Go to the advanced troubleshooting section inside of Windows 11 and restart to your BIOS. Why they couldn't just say restart to BIOS, I have no idea. Like, that is the most convoluted way to get to a BIOS I've ever heard of.
Well, at the same time, too, I don't know. I mean, I know some people at some offices that think they're, IT people, or they're like, I don't want to call IT. This is fine. And I'll Google this myself. And then 5 minutes later, hey, I tried fixing this myself. Can you fix it? Okay, what'd you do? I don't know. I just Googled something. It told me I did what it told me to do.
Yeah.
But even
it said I had a virus, so I'm on the phone with Microsoft right now.
Yeah, yeah. He sounds kind of like Indian.
Yeah.
Asian.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know.
TPM is going to be a thing that people like you and people like me are going to get phone calls about, and
all the time.
We're gonna have.
It's gonna be easier. Hang on, just let me walk over there. I'll just do it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I get the need for increased security in an operating system, and I'm glad Microsoft is taking a stance for this. In one way. In another way, because TPM isn't just included on a motherboard and hasn't been a standard feature outside of like Intel vPro systems or, AMD's enterprise chips and things like that, it's not a thing that a lot of desktops and even fewer laptops have. Sure, there's a TPM module plugin header on most motherboards. I bet 95% of you didn't know what that was, or if you have one. But it's only the header. You still have to buy the module, which was a $5 module. And basically is another layer in Secure Boot. It makes sure that no tampering of anything has happened. But it is Microsoft going, that is going to be our be-all, end-all of security, and that's the hill we're going to die on. That's a weird one. It's just a weird one. It's not weird. Today's video sponsor.
No.
Today's episode of Talking Heads is... Oh, come on. I keep clicking on the wrong one. Today's episode of Talking Heads is brought to you by Linode. If you've ever needed to host your own server, whether it be for home or business use, but don't have the resources or time to invest into hardware, power, cooling, or even space, why not let Linode host them for you? If it runs on Linux, it will run on Linode. That includes most of the software tutorials on my channel, like how to run your own ad-blocking recursive DNS servers, VPN gateways, your own cloud-based Plex server, and more, and maybe very soon, a cloud-based Linux gaming virtual machine? Linode makes it simple to deploy and manage your own cloud services, with solutions ranging from a single shared CPU to massive multi-core virtual machines. They even offer dedicated RTX 6000 graphics for rendering or machine learning. With shared CPU plans starting at as little as $5 per month and scaling up to as high as you need to go, you'll be able to find a hosting plan that fits your needs. And even if you do host your own servers, remember, Linode can keep a backup off-site because RAID is not a backup, and I totally screwed up my own line. Visit linode.com/craftcomputing and get a $100 60-day credit just for signing up for a new account, and get your home lab or enterprise cloud network started today. That's linode.com/craftcomputing, and thanks again to Linode for sponsoring today's episode.
Linode. I guess we missed a super chat actually, and we got reminded by another super chat. So Ryan did a super chat back with the Apple stuff and says Apple needs to start selling standalone cameras so they can stop focusing on the same thing every generation. Kindly innovate something else.
Yeah. Here's the problem. Why doesn't a company, or why does your smartphone have cameras that would oust the best point and shoot cameras from the last 15 years? Why do we all now carry phones with cameras that are capable of taking phenomenally good pictures, yet the best webcams cost $200 and look like hot garbage in comparison? Why is that?
Yeah.
The reason is, and Epos Fox has gone into a great deal of detail about this subject, is the processing inside the camera is tied directly to the CPU with specific and purpose-built silicon for processing that camera image. The cameras themselves are fairly inexpensive, but they're inexpensive because they're just sensors with no processing on them. The magic and the quality happens because of the color processing science and the all the AI tweaks that go into the CPU that's built into your phone. So whether it's a Snapdragon or Apple Silicon or whatever you happen to have, there's literally GPIO pins that communicate with the camera and back and forth, and then that's how images are processed. So saying Apple should just make a camera, it's going to be the same cost as a phone, because the only difference between your phone and that camera module is the LTE modem that happens to be on it. So
yeah, probably, yeah.
This
Basically,
is $1,000 point and
anyone.
shoot camera when it boils down to it. Yes, there's other features, but they built that silicon purpose built for the camera module that goes into it. You can't take the camera out and use it with another CPU or over USB because there's no processing behind it that understands what it's sending it.
I mean, that's why in most new phone upgrades, or any phone, doesn't matter what brand you go with, that's their big selling point. How good is the camera? And that's why people buy it, because 99% of the time, no one carries a point and shoot anymore. It's, I got my camera. Okay. Then it goes to the camera. Then the next thing is storage. Because why? How many pictures and videos are you taking? And do you have to delete them or not? Well, cloud storage kind of took care of a lot of that, but still people like having to have a lot of it right then and there, and not have to sync up with something or anything like that. But essentially, modern day phones are just glorified point and shoot cameras that can surf the internet and make phone calls.
Yeah.
That's basically what they are.
Yeah.
And then all of the webcams, yeah, they just don't have a processor. So what do? Plug it in USB. Oh, boom, to your computer. So you have a smartphone now that's just really large.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Yeah. So that's the explanation. That's why Apple doesn't sell cameras, because they do sell cameras. They just happen to be in phones.
Yeah. But then he also put $5 for, here's an extra $5 to make my previous missed super chat even more super. So they're claiming I'm not saying super chat. So there we go.
Oh, Ryan, to be fair, I did see your first super chat, and we were wrapping up a conversation, and then I had to do the sponsor spot. I would have gotten back to it. So to be fair, I did see your super chat right as we started talking about TPM. So, but thank you for the double super chat. I appreciate it. Moving right along, we are moving into beer news, and John, you were supposed to remind me of something.
Yes. Well, actually, someone did ask what camera you are using for your webcam.
This camera?
Yeah.
This is the Zcam E1 with a is that the Tokina? Yeah. Tokina 11 to 16 millimeter f2.8 and a Viltrox EF speed booster for micro four thirds. It is ghastly overkill for a webcam, but holy crap if it doesn't produce some amazingly good images.
Yeah, both Jeff and I don't really use webcams.
Yeah.
I use my standard Sony A6000. Jeff uses, that used to be, wasn't that your old camera? One of your older cameras that you're using?
No, actually I bought this specifically for doing stuff like this.
Oh. Also
for some basic B-roll shots. Now my primary camera is a Zcam E2, which is a proper cinema camera with Sigma 1835, primo glass on it. But I actually bought this camera to kind of help complement that. Knowing this isn't a cinema camera, it's more of like a hybrid sports camera. It has not even a full micro four thirds sensor. It's actually a 2.3x crop instead of a 2x crop. But it had all the features that I was looking for in a webcam, and I got this camera for $200. And so it's a large sensor. You can adapt it to an EF lens, which means I can speed boost it, and I can put f2.8 or even f1.8 glass on it if I wanted to. It has AC power built into it, so all I do is plug in a cable and it's powered. It stays on forever. There's no autofocus in it, but it does allow manual exposure, and so my camera is not constantly trying to change exposure on me like a webcam would and that kind of thing. It's also got phenomenal color. Phenomenal color and contrast. Partially thanks to the lens that you can add to it. So yeah, 11 to 16 millimeter Tokina f2.8, which when it came out was like a $750 lens. It's an overkill webcam. I get that, but it looks great. I love this camera.
Yeah. But speaking of beer news, Jeff, I think there's a box to your side that you need to open.
Mm-hmm.
See, there we go. There's a proper transition. We'll take over from there, and people are saying that I either need to get a slow-mo camera or better audio. I do need better audio. I actually just broke the screen on my lapel, and I actually do have a really nice Pro lapel mic and receiver. The only reason I don't use it is because it takes AA batteries. Two boxes.
Yeah, it's not just one. It's 2 boxes.
Like Tavor.
Yeah. I think these are the 12-pack whale pods. Like, I'm starting to recognize the shape.
Well, do you still keep the whale pod like the
oh yeah,
you know, the padding?
Of course.
I wonder if you have like stacks of them in your garage.
Maybe. It's a possibility.
Like, I will never burn these. I need them.
Of course, I took the knife off my belt, and so I like.
Oh, you know what you need? Your next product needs to be a craft computing box beer opener.
Hey, look, whale pod.
Whale pod.
And it's a 12-pack. Hey! So, these 2 cases were sent over by Ryan. Ryan? Kyle. Excuse me.
Kyle. Wow. Just Ryan.
Why did I say Ryan? I don't know. Yeah. So we've got a 12-pack of beer. Let's get to it. This looks like 6 2-packs. So first up, we have Naked River Brewing Moon Pie, chocolate moon pie stout.
I have seen that one.
Yeah, that looks like a cool can.
I have seen that one.
I like that, and I do like a good moon pie. I'm a fan of marshmallow and all that jazz.
Marshmallow and chocolate.
Yeah. I don't see an ABV on here right off, but yeah. So that was from Naked River Brewing. Next up, we have proudly brewed in Nashville, Tennessee, New Heights IPA, 6.9%, 101 IBU.
Oh, yeah. So hopefully kind of a West Coast style, maybe.
Yeah. From Monday Night Brewing, Don't Call It Hotlanta, quadruple IPA, quadruple dry hop. 8.5 on that one.
Hey.
Let's see. Ooh. Oh, this one speaks to me. This one speaks to me. Yes, coffee.
I know it.
This is from Terrapin Beer Company, brewed in Athens, Georgia. I don't think I've ever had a Georgia beer. I'm trying to think.
I would have to. If I did, I wouldn't know.
I've even had like Mississippi and Louisiana beer. I don't know if I've ever had a beer from Georgia. And Georgia's like one of the few states I have not had beer from. Like, I've had beer from South Dakota, but Georgia's been like one that's like I've never had one from there. So from Terrapin Brewing or Terrapin Beer Company, Athens, Georgia. Vanilla Chai Latte Wake and Bake Coffee Oatmeal Imperial Stout 2020 Reserve, 9.4%. And
so that's a little chai, coffee,
little coffee. This speaks to me. Like, you don't even know. Like, coffee and chai. Oh God, yes. 49th State Brewing, Thunder Shuck Oyster Pale Ale.
Wait, what? I'm going to look that one up.
Thunder Shuck Oyster Pale Ale. You heard
that sounds
me.
Like something I would drink.
John, proudly brewed in Alaska. 49th State Brewing. 5.7%, 31 IBU.
49th State Brewing. Yeah, there you go.
When we tasted a bushel of oysters from Chicat Bay Oyster Farm just outside of Nukati Bay, on Prince of Wales Island, Alaska, we knew we had to brew a new beer with them. Rather than brewing the typical dark oyster beer, we decided to push the envelope and brew an experimental oyster pale ale instead. With a fruity aroma and tropical notes of guava and citrus, Thundershock Pale features a bit of malt sweetness, softer bitterness, and noticeable oceanic saltiness.
So I wonder if it actually has oysters in it. I know an oyster stout is supposed to.
Yes.
So
I'm assuming yes that this is made with oysters.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, Anchorage, Alaska.
I mean, why wouldn't they? Let's see.
Yeah, rather than make a traditional dark oyster beer, we decided to make an experimental oyster pale ale. So I'm assuming
I would assume that's what I would go with.
Oysters are right in the name. Also from 49th State Brewing, we have Golden Dahl Belgian inspired triple.
Oh, that's a spicy Belgian yeast and fruity esters.
8.5.
Yes. I'm on their website right now trying to figure out. And just as you said that, I scrolled by. Oh, hey, I just read that.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, so that's box number 1. Number 2, I will also have to get open. Using the only sharp implement that I have at my desk.
Is that a screwdriver?
Yes.
Or
reminded of the first Family Guy episode with Brian and Stewie, Road to Rhode Island. So they do all the like Brian and Stewie trips. Road to Rhode Island was the very first one, and Brian and Stewie are staying in a hotel room, and their credit card was declined. So the hotel manager is banging on the door and open up, hotel manager, or I'll your credit card was declined. Open up, or I'll use this blunt instrument I used to hit deadbeats with bad credit cards. Well, it's not an instrument, more of an object, really. And well, it's kind of like a bat. So, the only sharp instrument that I have.
Classic Family.
It's a long way to go for that joke. But. All right, we got some 12-ouncers here. Hutton and Smith Brewing Company. Where in the world is that? Chattanooga, Tennessee. This is the Igneous IPA, 7.2%.
Oh, a little 12-ounce can.
Yep. Yeah, all these are going to be 12s, it looks like. Also from Hutton and Smith, the Promenade. This is also an IPA, 6.7%. Bold, juicy, tropical, full-bodied New England-style IPA. Smooth, luscious treat showered with 4 different hop varieties. Sounds like a lot of fancy words for a hazy.
Yeah, it sounds like we had a couple spare hops over here. How do we make this sound good?
Empty the rest of that into the vat and we'll call it something. From Yazoo Brewing. Yazoo. Kala IPA. Kala IPA.
Kala. Maybe they don't know what it is.
Calla IPA. Kala
there it is.
IPA.
Yeah. It's a hazy.
Okay.
Even though the pictures I'm seeing are as crystal clear.
Yep. Another 49th State from up in Anchorage. We've got a Solstice IPA. This one should be a little bit crisper. Aromatics of juicy grapefruit, ripe melon, balanced on the perfect level of bitterness. So, Solstice IPA.
The Kala IPA has an interesting. It goes with notes of tangerine, creamy mint, and grapefruit. Those are your flavors.
Those are 3 different beers, right? Because if they're 3 different beers, like I kind of get it.
Nope. A Kala IPA bursts forth with lush hop notes of tangerine, creamy mint, and grapefruit.
Where are they getting tangerine from hops?
Yeah, that's the one you're asking about, right?
I mean, the mint is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Creamy mint is always in a lot of hop.
Right.
Yeah.
Creamy mint. Oh.
Yeah, that was I had to mention that.
Yeah. Odd Story Brewing Company. This is the Monkey's Heart Pale Ale. Kind of a cool psychedelic looking pastel can art on it. I like that.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like the Indiana Jones Kalima. Oh, that's Monkey Brain. Never mind.
And then last but not least, from Naked River Brewing, this is the Cosmic Turtle Hazy IPA with blood orange.
Ooh.
And that is a cool looking can.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Surfing the skies, bro.
All right. So I was like, whoa. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, whoa.
Whoa. And then we were like, whoa.
Whoa. All right.
Speaking of really good beers, Jeff.
You ready for another one yet?
I am ready for a new one. You want to open? I was going to ask you how yours was going. You're still drinking yours.
Not fast enough. Hold on.
Yes. I was going to ask you how was your beer, because you haven't said anything about it.
Before I drink it, it's a beer.
It's a beer. I know you are not a Pilsner guy, and the fact that you found two you like was pretty amazing.
Right, exactly. Like I do appreciate like a really good Pilsner. Like you get that nice light bready, biscuity kind of top to them, and nice and crisp and refreshing. Like
good on a hot day.
Good on a hot day, like a lemonade of beer kind of thing. Like I'm definitely a fan of that. This is 4.5%, but thicker and kind of a sour, bitter hop note right on top, and the malt doesn't do it any flavors either, and then it just dies. And
that's the one thing I will state about Oregon beers and doing Pilsners and lagers. I think Oregon, majority of the time, like the bigger breweries, we kind of over hop our light beers. And you have to go to the smaller breweries to be like, okay, this is how it's traditionally done. But like with Breakside or something, we Northwesterners like hoppy bitterness, even in our light Pilsners. And, well, that shows. We like hoppiness. And it shows in the Great American Beer Festival. If you've never heard of that, it is the largest beer festival in the United States. It's held every year. I think last year was the only year it wasn't held for a long time. But it's one of the most amazing beer festivals you could ever go to. I wish I could go to it. A friend of ours, Dan, who owns Ratchet Brewery, while I had the tap room and his wife worked for me, he went to this with another friend. And at the time, I was above him in Untapped by like 300 or 400 check-ins. He came back that over 3 days, and I think he said he checked in around 500 or 600 beers. Yeah, he said every day they were just Now Dan's a bigger guy, but he took.
I've been drinking beer with them.
Yeah.
I went glass for glass the entire day. That was a long day.
It's at the Dark Arts
Festival of the Dark Arts.
Yeah.
And, that was a long day.
Yeah,
that was legit 13 hours straight of nothing but beer samples and like a sausage for lunch at 2 p.m.
You get a sausage and a pretzel, and that's all.
Sausage and a pretzel on a stick, right?
Yep. And
that was it.
But yeah, after that,
I tried to vlog it. I genuinely tried to vlog it.
Oh, I remember you talking about it and everything. I remember that because I still have the tap room at the time. I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to go.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, so this is a pretty big deal for a lot of breweries. And the cool part is everyone also gets to vote on the beers there. All the different beer styles, a lot, just like the Oregon Beer Festival here is the largest in the Pacific Northwest. The Great American Beer Festival.
Largest outdoor
beer festival. Thank you. This is the largest beer festival in the United States. But every beer gets judged too. That's the other thing. And who would bring home the coveted IPA gold but us, the Oregonians? We bring home the best IPA you could have. And it's not from
we already knew that. John, why are we talking? This isn't news.
No, yes, we get that. But the news is it's not from like Breakside. It's not from Great Notion. That's the other thing. So it is actually from a smaller brewery called Von Ebert Brewing. They're in the Portland district. I've had a lot of their beers. Very good beers. Very good standard beers. Now They won the gold medal for the American IPA, the standard chutzpahs of IPAs.
Chutzpah.
The chutzpahs, what you expect. If you were a home brewer, this is what you want your IPA to look like and taste like. And they won gold in that. And actually, I think we even won silver too. So we took home both. I think we took home. I think we took home a total of 15 medals. You can go check out the article. Gives you a link into everything, what everyone won. We took home an ESB medal. So it's very, very cool. And actually, I didn't put this in the news, but I'll just go ahead and slide it in there while you're pouring your beer. We were talking about beer venues and or beers you get at venues and how much they cost. Yeah. Kind of briefly. And significant thing, if you come to the Portland area and you decide to come see a Blazer game, well, guess what? You can have one of the best, well-known hazy IPAs that Oregon produces, and that is Great Notion. Great Notion has signed a contract to be the exclusive IPA for the Portland Trailblazers. And you will get an exclusive can at the Moda Center. I always call it the Rose Garden.
It's the Rose Garden.
It's the Rose Garden. It changes every 5-6 years.
Screw Moda.
Yeah, I know. God, their insurance sucks. Yeah. So now you can actually get a decent beer at the Moda Center. And everyone's always talking about, how do I get Great Notion beers? Great Notion beers. Go see a Blazer game. You can get a Great Notion beer.
I was involved in contract talks for healthcare for an organization in which Moda was pretty much the only choice that we had. And in one hand, they're going, sorry, it's been a really rough year for us and we have to raise premiums. And we know this is a really difficult time. But, if you could just give us, instead of like $1,500 per employee, we're going to raise premiums to like $1,700 per employee. And by the way, we just renewed our $70 million naming rights agreement for the Rose Garden. So it's still going to be called the Moda Center. It's like, I wonder where all my money is going. Because it's certainly not into my healthcare.
I can't reach my beer.
It's going into a billionaire dick measuring contest.
Well, you got to measure each centimeter, Jeff.
Yep.
Each centimeter count. Yep. Where did my beer go?
Yeah, of all the scummy stadium naming deals, Moda has got to be number one on my I'm not happy list. So like, Jeff, American Airlines, sure, American Airlines Center, the Pepsi Center, I'll even go like the State Farm Arena or whatever else. But Moda health insurance, of all the scummy things you could possibly do with money from a health insurance company, it's name a stadium.
It was either that or we could have been, what was that Florida one, the Bang Bros Stadium. I mean, that's a real toss-up right there.
Yeah. They have a pretty solid minor league pole dancer club. So.
I mean, that core workout is, going to get everyone flexible. What did you open, Jeff?
I opened a beer that you had just a couple of weeks ago. You did a review on it from Binary Brewing. It is the White Hat versus Black Hat. So Old Spy versus Spy. This is basically a combination of two of their traditional beers. So they have a classic IPA and a hazy IPA, and they kind of like graveyarded it into a single batch. And
so no, actually it's different. It's the same beer. It's the same base beer.
Gotcha.
And they made it hazy and they made it clear.
Gotcha. Okay.
So technically there are two versions of it out there. And I thought it was like that, like what you said.
Right.
It was a combination.
That's and certainly what I see there.
Right? That's what I saw there.
But I guess the rest of my can is all black.
Yeah, so you got a black.
I got the hazy.
You got the hazy.
Yeah.
Which I think I like the American one because they called it American or Northwest IPA.
Yeah, this is definitely hazy.
Yeah, so yeah, you got the hazy one. So I am going to be opening up the other half, just like the versus, like you're doing. This is now versus Team Dog. So I went Team Cat, and we're gonna go Team Dog. It's an IPA. Double dry hopped with Strata, finished with tangerines, 6.4% as well.
I'm curious the difference between your two beers here, because Anchorage always does solid stuff, and
yeah,
like we said at the beginning of the show, Anchorage is kind of known for making just a bomb of a standard IPA, and then putting 10 different hop varieties in it and naming it 10 different beers, and bringing out some different essences along the way. So,
I'm totally Team Dog.
Are you?
I'm totally that tangerine just brings out that nice sweet citrus.
Yeah.
Juicy, but not, you know how there's that juice haziness, but it gives you that acid burn. Well, they just added actual juice essentially. So I'm getting the juiciness without it's just a little tangerine peel almost drying.
Yeah.
So
we did miss a couple of super chats. Yeah. So Harley sends over $5 with no message. Thank you very much, Harley. Good to see you. Let's see. Denver sends over. Wish my A7 III didn't have an internal record time limit. I have a trio of f1.4 lenses from 35 to 85. AF works surprisingly well at f1.4 in a full frame. Yeah, I love the A7 III. It was definitely on my list of things to consider. Although I bought my Zcam E2 at the end of 2019, so I've had it almost 2 years now. And at the time, it was the A7S2 if I wanted video recording, and I just wasn't happy with all of the features. Even though you would get autofocus and all the great things that Sony does, I kind of wanted ProRes for ease of editing, and I didn't want to, slap an Atom Shogun on top of it. Full frame Sony glass is expensive if you want the autofocus features and auto exposure features that Sony has. And sure, I could get, a full set of Rokinon Cine lenses and throw them on there, and they'd probably look fantastic. But you'd lose autofocus, and you're still looking $1,000 in glass. All of my glass was APS-C. It was sized for Super 35. So I have a Sigma 18-35. I have a Sigma 1750 IS for run and gun, which is also an f2.8 lens. I've got the Tokina 11-16, which is a APS-C lens. I've got the Sigma 50-150 f2.8, which is an APS-C lens. And I have a couple others around that are all APS-C. I think I have one full-frame lens left in my collection, and it's actually like my 15mm Laowa macro lens that happens to be a full-frame. So I wanted to stay on Super 35 or 4/3, which I wasn't a fan of 4/3, but at $2,000, the Zcam E2 made so much sense because you got similar video quality to an A7S2 with internal ProRes recording without the need for an Atom Shogun and everything else. Plus, you don't have to deal with overheating. Plus, you don't have to deal with this and that. And I can record straight to USB-C media. So I record straight to Samsung T5 and T7 drives. It uses a standard Sony F-mount battery. So I plop some Sony 970 F-mounts onto the back. They'll stay on for like 4 hours, whatever I'm doing, recording or not. And they were like $25. So battery life has never been an issue for me. So that being said, I want a Sony FX3. Like, if you put one in front of me, I wouldn't say no. Even if I had to invest in new Sony glass, because let's be real, the FX3 is boss. And then Heavy Palms, $2. Battlefield delayed. Thoughts, and do we even care? Don't beat us to it. We'll get there.
We'll get there. We have it.
I got two more things in front.
Yeah.
Chill, Heavy Palms.
So
I will say, I'm gonna be classic Hazy fan on this one, and I haven't even had the classic. Or I'm gonna be classic IPA fan.
Classic IPA.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Team White, not Team Black.
The Team White was nice malty Northwest. I wish it had a bit more hop to it to be that Northwest, because they called it a Northwest IPA, but or they called it a American Standard IPA or something like that, and so that way they can get around the Northwest. It just wasn't hoppy enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I think within the rules that they were trying to do, they were restricted in the amount of hops that they could probably add. Was what kind of the research that I did, because when I did it, the beer was only like a week old. So there really wasn't a whole lot. I should start reaching out to some of these places and asking the breweries.
Yeah. Yeah. This...
It was mediocre.
Yeah, it's definitely mediocre. It doesn't even have... I'm going to complain about hazies the way I normally complain about hazies, where I like the first 4 ounces because they're flavorful and different and expressive and deep and bold and vibrant and like... And then you drink it, and all you can taste is acid, and that's all you taste for the rest of the day. And blah, 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 blah. This doesn't even do that. Like, the first couple of drinks, I'm going, I kind of get some of those, like, I see where they're trying to be a little bit bolder in the citrus and whatnot, like a lot of hazies are.
Yeah.
But man, there's like it doesn't know if it wants to be sweet or bitter. And so there's like conflicting things going on through the middle and end of the flavor.
Yeah. I think I said that. I think I also tasted like a bit more oatiness, with like more of the flavor than the hops in this one.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, okay, they're just doing that to get a bigger body.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Oatmeal. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
The middle and end of the flavor is like this really weird, super bitter, grassy hop on like a bed of oatmeal.
Yes.
There it is.
So, yeah. So hard transition here, but we talked about this a while ago. The Nintendo Switch has been secretly, or they haven't been secretly, but they went and talked about their latest and greatest new thing, where everyone was hoping is going to be the new Switch Pro.
Yeah.
You know, we were all hoping for that, and we got the, what was it, OLED?
We got the Switch OLED.
The Switch OLED, whoop-de-whoop-de-doo, you know, and there was basically no upgrade other than the screen, and I think that was it.
Yeah.
And okay, the Switch has been around since 2017.
Yeah, early 17, maybe even late 16.
Yeah, I think it was in like certain places released 16, and I think official launch was 17. And
March 3rd, 2017. So yeah, early 17.
I love my Switch. I love the portability. I love the third-party games that make so many developers. They now have a bigger platform to hit. I love everything about that. I was really hoping for the Switch Plus. I really was, or Pro, or whatever we were hoping for. Now, the one thing, and I've experienced this too with a particular time, my son loves the Switch too because he can play some kid games on it, even though now he's all about Zelda Breath of the Wild. I was like, I didn't know a 4-year-old could beat a Lionel, but whatever. That's cool, impressive. But so we took it on a plane, and I was like, oh, you know what? I know that the Switch has Bluetooth capability because it's a modern device.
Right?
Boy, was I wrong. Nope. You have to go buy a USB-C adapter for it.
Yep.
To get Bluetooth. Well, good news to everyone that's always wanted Bluetooth capability. The Nintendo is finally giving us something we've been wanting since, 2015, or before that, before the Switch has even been born.
Yep.
The latest firmware update for the Switch, will give you Bluetooth capability up to 10 devices.
Bluetooth support finally on the Switch for headphones. And what I think is a very courageous move.
Innovative, going bold.
Bravo.
Bravo.
I mean, Apple had the courage to take out the headphone jack, and Nintendo has the courage to add Bluetooth headphone support. Bravo. I mean, really. I hope more devices follow in their footsteps. I really do.
Really do. I can't wait for my CD, my compact disc player to do Bluetooth.
Hold on, this just in. I'm hearing that Bluetooth audio support was dated as far back as the Sony mini disc player.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What? Wait, didn't any of the Nintendo like 3D didn't that have Bluetooth?
3DS.
Yeah. Oh gosh,
Honestly, I don't remember. I do remember there was a big hullabaloo because the Game Boy Advance SP removed the headphone jack and made you plug in an accessory port through the charging port. Was the only way you could have headphones, so you could either charge it or listen to your headphones at the same time. And it was like an extra $10 dongle. And we look at that now and go, $10, who cares?
Yeah.
But no, it was a big deal back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, but still, Bluetooth has been out forever. And it's just, my gosh, this is so, thank you finally, but my goodness. This just proves though, just with like the OLED of like, this is what people want. Okay, I really hope the next console they develop is not going to go the way of the Wii U or the GameCube, because it always seems to be hit, then crash, hit, then crash. And this has been such a success. All they need to do is just beef up the hardware with this thing. That's all they need to do.
Nintendo, dare I say, is working on the opposite Gantt chart schedule as Microsoft for Windows releases. Good release, bad release. Good release, bad release. Good release, bad release. So and questionable decisions for upgrades in the interim. And no one liked Windows 8.1 and Windows 10 when it was released, and lo and behold, we've got the Switch coming out, going, oh, rah, the Switch.
Yeah.
And before that, it was, or I guess Windows 8 and the Wii U. Those were both crashing at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're basing on the next Nintendo system on how good Windows 11 is.
Yes, I think so.
So, God help us all.
Yeah. Kren sends over $5 Thank you very much, Kren. The sarcasm detector is off the scale. I think we might have broken it, John. Yeah.
But yeah, so if you want Bluetooth on your Switch, which I will probably go and do, that way my son can now listen to his video game, because the speakers on that thing are horrible. And he does not, he likes to have the Switch on his lap, and he hates having a pointy adapter hitting his thigh.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that.
I can't understand the number of reviewers I always hear who complain about the ports being on the top. I use headphones, and so I want the headphone jack on the bottom. So when I'm like, no, because I want to be able to set the device down sometimes.
Yeah.
And honestly, on the bottom, especially if I'm like in a tight situation, like I'm trying to play a game on an airplane or something like that, I'm 6'5". My arms come out to here. And so I always end up holding like portable devices, kind of like T-Rex style. And the adapter like pokes me in the chest, and it drives me nuts. It's like, just hang it out the top and drape it up and under. Like, that is such a better position. But everyone's going, I want it on like Linus is famous for going like, every single port that's ever been talked about on any handheld device, he goes, I wish it was on the bottom, because that's just more ergonomic sense. And I'm like, no, it's totally not.
Well, he's like what, 5'8"?
Depends on what shoes he's wearing.
But yeah, no, I'm not even saying don't get rid of the 3.5 millimeter. I still want the headphone adapter there.
Yeah.
Sometimes Bluetooth headphones, the battery can die. It's fine. I still want the 3.5 millimeter, but I expect Bluetooth capability.
Yeah. If it says Bluetooth, there is no excuse for not having headphone support.
Yeah.
And why did it take them 4.5 years to get it?
I don't know.
It is in the standard Bluetooth driver for every operating system ever. Why did that take so long?
Because they had to build the store first? I don't know. It's dumb.
Who knows? Too busy working on Splatoon 2.
Gosh.
In other Nintendo news, not really Nintendo news, and please Nintendo be kind to this wonderful modder.
Yeah.
So late yesterday there was, I hate to use this phrasing, but viral post about a modder who took Mario 64 assets and put them into Minecraft, but not the way that you think he did. Because we've all seen Ocarina of Time recreated in Minecraft or redone in Unreal Engine.
Yeah,
and it's always
and
like
you see,
this,
like something spliced and missing,
right,
and wrong.
Or it's this reimagined tech demo with none of the right physics and everything looks wrong. Like, it might be pretty, but they literally just took like stock assets, upscaled them, and said, look, this is how Zelda would look in Unreal. And, well, yes, it probably took a guy like a couple of weeks to design it and you know, creatively enhance Kakariko Village. He didn't
remake everything, yeah.
But it's far from a working game, and the physics are definitely not the same game physics that we had in Ocarina of Time. And I notice things like that. And that always bugs me when they say, oh, this fan remade this in some weird thing. No, he didn't. He made something that looks like that, but it's not functionally that.
Yeah.
In this case, a modder took the decompiled Nintendo Mario 64 PC port, put the engine itself into Minecraft, and he's running both game engines at the same time. So he's got Java Minecraft that has all of the assets, physics, controls, everything from the Mario 64 PC port running as the driver for Mario himself. So this is truly Mario 64 running in Minecraft.
Yes. It is the merger of basically two games.
Yeah, it doesn't just look like Mario. This is Mario with all the same controls, all the same physics, all the same world interactions as Mario 64 on the Minecraft map with Minecraft physics. And that's a very big distinction. Now, PDX Dylan, you know what? He's in Portland. We need to look him up.
I was gonna say that. I was like, oh, I bet he's in Portland.
We need to look him up.
I was gonna go buy.
Twitter,
buy the guy a beer.
Yeah, Twitter user PDX Dylan posted the video. Said, "I'm working on a Minecraft mod that runs Super Mario 64 engine. It's very work in progress right now, but here's some highlights." And it shows native Mario animations and controls and physics and gravity and interaction working on top of Minecraft, and it's one of the coolest dang things I've ever seen. But his post blew up, obviously. Like, Reddit got a hold of it and Twitter got a hold of it, and they've been going nuts. Dylan has then sent a follow-up tweet and said, didn't expect this to gain traction so quickly, so I should probably clarify. Due to how Nintendo deals with fan projects, DMCAing, etc., I sadly can't promise a download either now or in the future. The most I can do is probably post silly videos of what I do in-game. So he says, I'm not going to deal with that legal nonsense. As cool as this is and as fun as it is, I'm not getting involved in that. I don't want that party showing up to my door.
Yeah, I mean, how many times has that happened already?
Yeah, Nintendo is pretty aggressive about using IP for other things. But Dylan, I want to buy you a beer.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, as long as he's 21.
As long as you're 21, I would like to buy you a beer because I want to try this.
Yeah, just bring your computer over. You have a beer.
Yep.
Let me play this.
Yeah, you have a beer. Let me sit down at the laptop, have a little one-on-one time. That's all I want. That's all I want.
That's all I want. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a super chat. I think we had 2 super chats.
Had a couple of them, yeah.
The sarcasm detector, we did that one.
Yeah. Denver sends over $5. Thank you again. For later, but did anyone reach out to you about using an A100 on a project you've been working on? Gaming on it, for instance. Not that I remember. Should I remember?
Maybe you talked about it once. I don't. It does not.
Yeah,
I don't recall anything else.
So obviously, Denver is referencing the cloud gaming server, and honestly, the most powerful card that it would possibly be supported on is the Tesla A100. It's the Ampere 100. Boy. Okay. Just so we're clear, Twitter DMs are always open. Just saying.
So
other gaming news.
Other gaming news that was talked about this in super chat, and we're gonna get to it now, like we promised we would. The highly anticipated. I am personally looking forward to this game.
You listening?
Yes, I am looking forward to this game, and I'm praying it is not the next Cyberpunk 2077, but Battlefield 2042 has been delayed. Wrong. Yeah, there it is. And but it hasn't been delayed as much. We're looking at originally it was supposed to be an October 22 release. I think it got pushed back to November 19th. So basically just under 2 months.
Hold on. I got to go back here. So an update from the Battlefield team. So I clicked on it. This media includes potentially sensitive content. People have been reporting the image as not safe for work. We made the decision to shift the launch of Battlefield 2042. The game will now be released worldwide on November 19th, 2021. So only a couple of weeks back of its initial planned release.
Nothing big.
Yeah.
But I really hope, I think, wasn't Cyberpunk originally like a 2-month delay, and then it ended up being like a 6-month delay?
It was originally a 1-month delay, and then they delayed it 4 months. So it was originally supposed to be out like September of 2019. They then delayed it until November of 2019, and then they delayed it to March. So they went a 2-month, a 4-month, and then I think they did another 4-month where they pushed it back to July.
So that's why I'm saying I really hope this isn't the next Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Because just like Cyberpunk, amazing trailers, amazing talk, there's huge anticipation. There's a lot of cool concepts about the new Battlefield. I forget what the mod is called, but they're basically, you can bring in almost any genre you want. I think even in the super secret Discord chat, because if you're not in it, you should join it. We have talked about it in the gaming section. I know Steve and I have. I think it's going to be super fun, but being delayed a month or a little over a month, I just hope it's a little tiny glitch.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's more of they have a glitch with consoles, possibly downgrading some of the resolution or whatever.
They're working on getting the tweaks just right, so you have to pay to win.
I will pay to win this one. No, I just want to be a good sniper. I just like sniping people.
It's the only way John can win.
Yep. I don't pay.
Your wife didn't marry you for your looks.
I know. I did have to get that job before I got her marry me.
That's right.
The reason for that. That is odd, huh? See, it seems like every time I do something, like I gotta buy her a gift.
Yeah.
I gotta look into this.
Someone who's been married 15 years. I'm on to something.
I think we hit. We were on. I don't even remember anymore.
See, that's the problem.
No, that's that means you've been married too long.
Yeah.
So Andrew did send us $5. Have a beer on me. I appreciate all that you do and for putting up with my silly questions. Newbies, get on the Discord. It's worth the weight in gold.
Yes.
It is. I do talk about it a lot, but it is an amazing Discord. I am on some other Discords that I do have to pay for that are on the bigger tech channels. And I still find myself going into the community that I get for free. You know, but it's an amazing, amazing community. Every channel, even if I'm not interested in a subject, I can go in there and find a conversation that I'm like, hey, that's really cool. I don't know anything about it. And everyone there is so friendly. You could ask a question and you could probably sit there and think it sounds dumb, but it's really not. And everyone's like, hey, I can help you out with that. I can help you out with this. Well, this is how you do this one. This is how you fix this part. We have a car section. We have a trade section. We have food and beverage, meme section, music section, TV and entertainment section, a personal talking head. So if you aren't in the chat on YouTube, there's a special chat just for talking heads that we are constantly, if you're seeing us type, that's usually where we're typing into.
It's the super secret chat.
It's the super secret chat. And the best part of all, after every show, there's usually about between an hour to 2 hours video chat that we all get onto. After party. So if you want to be a part of that, you want to get some of the nitty gritty stuff or ask questions or hear stories from all over the world, because we literally have people waking up at 4 a.m., 6 a.m. You know, they are all over and in their pajamas and talking to us all the time. And I'm not talking like one time. I'm talking like every time. These people are dedicated into that chat room. It's an amazing, fun community. If I could be there more, I would, but I can't. I do have other priorities and have to wake up.
I don't have to wake up Thursday, so
exactly, I do. So I have to leave like halfway through, and then I come back the next day. Hey, what was everyone talking about? And there's an hour and a half later of just chats and posts. And like, hey, everyone's like, wow, you guys had a good time.
I have the after party officially starts at 10:30. I'm usually on there from about 10:30 to midnight. I try to get off at midnight most times because I do have kids who wake me up at 6. So I want to get some sleep. But I've gotten off at like 2 a.m. before and gotten back on at 6 a.m. and the Australians are still talking. They're still in video chat.
Those Aussies.
Yep. Thank you guys for carrying the swing shift torch. We really appreciate it.
So, but it is, and again, if you haven't heard, it is a minimum of $1. More is always welcome. I guarantee you, if you start off with $1, you will see the value in it and will probably want to do more. Every penny does go back into content building for this channel. It's not just spent on beer. No, Jeff gets enough of that from everyone else. Beer. Not just on it, maybe 25%. But the lights behind them, the studio, the equipment that he's able to buy while on Talking Heads. If you've ever seen this before, he's on eBay all the time and doing those buys.
Did you guys realize the cloud gaming server project I'm like $5,000 into, and that's not even including the donated /sponsored /review parts that I've got into that. Like, I'm legit $5,000 into that project.
He could buy a car. He could buy another cheap Z car for parts.
Yeah. So it's because of the Patreon, it's because of the support that I get from people like you all that I'm able to do those kinds of projects, which honestly on YouTube don't see that big of a return. But those type of projects is what my core audience eats the heck out of. So jump on the float plane, jump on the Patreon, go over to craftcomputing.store, get yourself a pint glass or a
official
really nice sweet
t-shirt, pint glass, drink like the pros. See, I remember that one.
Drink the way the pros drink. Because I get paid to drink now. Let's see. Kren sends over another $2. Good day. Good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I know you're in Australia. You're what?
It'd be morning.
6 hours?
Early
5
morning?
hours? No, it'd be like 3:30 p.m. 3:30, 4:30 p.m. 4:30 p.m. Depending on where you're at in Australia. So yeah, Afternoon. What you having for dinner? That's what I want.
Yeah.
Novella Hub. Do you ever go thirsty anymore? Craft computing. Not often, but here's the most first world problem that I have, other than like I wish I got to drive my Z car more. Is this is a first world problem, is I will open my fridge and it's nothing but like 9% double IPAs and 12% barrel aged stouts and jammy sours, and it's like, I just need a beer for lunch. I'm looking for a 6% IPA.
Oh, so I have this
and I can't find one.
I have this argument with my wife a lot. Well, I shouldn't say argument, but that look a wife will give you. And
I go and
buy, I go and buy the variety. It's my favorite is the Ninkasi variety pack. And it's like, oh, it's on sale. And it's like, oh, whatever. I get it. And she's like, you have all this other beers. Like, Captain, I just want a beer to drink.
Yeah.
I just want a drinking beer. I want that, like, I don't care. This, for some reason, this is the comfort beer that I want. I want that 6% Northwest hop that I know I'm going to love every time. It's going to go with this meal, to where every other beer I'm going into, I'm like, I don't know if I want this for the nightcap. That's too big.
Yeah.
That's going to be a sugar bomb. I just want a staple, decent
Do you know
beer.
what I've been doing lately? Is my local grocery store, they have, number one, a phenomenal craft beer selection. Number two is they do have a lot of the 19.5 ounce cans. And they always carry Hop Valley Cryo Stash and Founders All Day IPA. So maybe once a week I'll go in there and I'll grab a can of each of those. And those are my, I'm not filming today, I don't have anything going on, or I'm like testing something or writing a script or whatever else. That is my, like, I want a beer with lunch and I don't want to think about it and I want it to be good. Do I want 8.5 or 4.5%? There we go. And so you spend and they're $1.99 and $2.39 for those two beers.
Oh yeah, it's the Cryo Stash. So I've always wanted to do a video of, the idea was the cheapest yet best, the best cheapest IPA you can get.
Right.
And essentially what's under $3.
Right. Cryo Stash
gotta
be up on there on that list.
It's gotta be on the list. And it's like, because I was looking at it like, okay, what can I get for under $3? That's a good, decent, and even big IPA. And Cryo Stash is like 8.4, 8.5%.
8.6, I want to say.
Yeah, it's like $2.50 for a 19 ounce can.
And what's funny is, even if you're looking at, like, the traditional West Coast, you go with the Stone or the Sierra Nevada or whatnot, even for the pint cans, that's still running you $3 to $4 a pint. Especially when you get into the Stone specialty stuff that has the higher ABV, like the Fear Movie Lions and their high double bomb kind of stuff. Cryo Stash at like $2.50. God, it's hard to beat that can.
It is very hard to beat it. I mean, when I was looking, I was thinking like there was like Baller IPA, there's like a Widmer, or I think it was like a Deschutes Fresh Squeeze is in there. But it's like I found like 4 or 5 beers that are
Fresh Squeeze is another good one. Fresh Squeeze.
Yeah, that are under $3 for the big 19 ounce, like the big beers, and it was. But the reason I never pulled the trigger on it was these are only beers you can get basically here in Oregon. Right. And it was like, it's kind of hard to, how many people would actually be interested in that concept? But I still really like that idea.
You know what? I say film it anyway.
Yeah, I know, right?
Here's the beers that I can get locally under $3 that are the best beers that I can get.
The best beers you can get. And then within that, rank the best. And,
Because, Founders isn't a local beer. I mean, you can get all-day IPA anywhere.
Yes. And I do think, though, that, okay, but for the same price, again, kind of something we've always talked about, ABV versus quality.
Yep.
Founders all-day IPA is, I think, 20 cents more.
4.6? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 4.6. So, and it comes in at like $2.80 a can, to where Cryo Stash comes in at $2.50, and it's 8.6.
Yep.
Now, but technically, I do think probably craft-wise and care and love is probably better than the Founders. But the Crown Stash is good enough to stand, and it's like, I only need one of these for the whole day.
Yeah.
And I'm good to go.
Yeah. No, I grab that can because I'll open it with lunch and I'll be drinking it until 2:30. And
yeah,
it's just a good beer to just sit there and...
It's a good hour and a half sipper. Like, I can have this for an hour, and I'm like, sip, put it down. You know, the best part too, when I have that one is I'll because I only put it in like a 16-ounce glass or something.
Yeah.
And I only pour 2/3.
Yeah.
And then I put the rest in the fridge, and then I go and I drink it, slowly. I'm like, oh, I'm almost done. Pour the rest in.
Look, I got 12 ounces still.
I got 12 ounces
right?
left. Yeah, exactly.
We do have a super chat, and this is what appears to be a very important question. Zachary, $25 donation. Thank you, Zachary. Much appreciated.
Whoa, yeah, thank you, sir.
Favorite Nicolas Cage flick? The answer is important.
Okay, I do have my absolute favorite Nicolas Cage movie.
Okay.
Do you know one?
I have a lot.
I have a lot. But there's one. I will say, I'm not saying like he's the greatest actor.
I have my absolute favorite.
This is the one I love. I would watch multiple times.
I have mine selected. My answer is final answer. Okay.
Mine's locked.
Mine is locked. Okay, John.
I have 87's Raising Arizona.
Oh, that's a good one.
So that is all around. I love the soundtrack. I have fond memories of it, and I think the story is hilarious.
Yeah.
And I think he does a phenomenal acting job. This is during the whole early eras of Nicolas Cage, where he was I'm not saying he's a bad actor, but he was a really good actor early on.
Yeah. I'm going to go out of left field on this one.
Pig.
I know. I feel like this is a left field choice.
Okay.
Face Off.
A good one. I think he did a phenomenal, crazy character, and
the reason I think Face Off is one of his best movies is because of the dynamic between him and John Travolta playing their own cemented, well-developed characters, and then trying to mirror the other actors' mannerisms. So good. Good.
I agree that is because I think it was like The Rock, Face Off, and
Con Air.
Con Air.
Con Air is a good one. Yeah.
And
Con Air went through my mind first, and that's probably like a 1A or a 1B for me.
The pinnacle, the peak of
oh god, there's so much good in Con Air.
Cage,
there's
and then
Steve Buscemi as the crazy guy, as basically Hannibal Lecter.
And so, but I think that was more of a supporting cast.
Oh yeah, no, Steve, and to be fair, Steve Buscemi was being typecast in that one.
Oh, he totally was. But and then John Malkovich, it was okay. But no, I agree that Face Off, the method acting of switching roles and having to portray, John Travolta's mannerisms and trying to get that. Was
like I said,
phenomenal.
The dynamic of playing your own crazy character and then trying to portray John Travolta inside your skin. And John Travolta did this amazingly as well, portraying a crazy Nicolas Cage. But those are both that movie is such a good example of this outside the box method acting kind of thing. I love that movie. I love the work that went into that movie, and I think
wasn't that John Woo?
John Woo.
Wasn't it directed by John Woo?
Might have been. I
think it was one of his. Let me see. Face Off. It was John Woo.
1997. John Woo. Yep.
John Woo. Yep. So. I remember the action because a lot of people basically threw it off as an action movie, over the top action. It's like, no, there's some really good, typical crazy Nicolas Cage stuff, but he kind of let him go. Like at the very intro where he's the priest and then just like doing the headbanging thing,
that was so
and
good.
It was like weird, but you're like, I believe he's a psychopath. I just believe this guy.
Right.
And it was just, it's great. It's good acting. So
yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna go. I'm looking at Nicolas Cage films right now. Time to Kill. That was a good one. That's a late 80s one. Yeah. The Rock, Con Air, Face Off. Those were back to back to back. That was 3 movies in a row.
Yeah. No, that's why I say like
wait. That list goes on. City of Angels.
That's a great one.
Snake Eyes.
It's a drama, but it was a great
City drama. Of Angels. That's a dark horse. That really is a dark horse. With was that Meg Ryan? Meg Ryan. Was that opposite? Yeah.
And the Google Dolls is the soundtrack.
Yeah. So listen to this list, okay?
Oh no, even before that. Look before that. Leaving Las Vegas.
I'm going down.
Oh yeah.
So Trapped in Paradise. Okay. So we've got Kiss of Death, Leaving Las Vegas, The Rock, Con Air, Face Off, City of Angels, Snake Eye, 8mm, Bringing Out the Dead, Gone in 60 Seconds, Family Man.
Yeah.
That's a chronological list of movies that he did in 4 years.
And in one of those, he won an Oscar.
Right. But just those 3, The Rock, Con Air, Face Off, those all launched in 97.
Yeah.
That's insane. Family Man is also, I think, an underappreciated movie.
I really enjoyed Family Man too. It's kind of a darker movie.
I didn't see the second one. I'm kidding. I really enjoyed the Family Man too.
And then he went out, so there's interesting thing, then he went off the deep end and had some debts and did some off weird ones. But recently
Kick-Ass.
There was Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass is good. Again, he plays a great crazy guy.
He did his most recent one is called Pig.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, if you didn't know it, it's gotten actually high praise in his acting. And it's all based in Portland, Oregon. He is an ex-sous chef and retires and kind of goes into exclusion into like the Tillamook forest area. And then someone kidnaps his trophy-winning truffle pig. Now, they're saying the story is so-so, but they're saying that the method acting that he does and how he portrays his character is Oscar-worthy. Like, it is just phenomenal. And I think Steve and I even talked about this before. Like, it sounds stupid, but it kind of, the premise is almost John Wick with a pig. Like, oh, they killed my dog, or they killed my pig, or they took my pig. And the trailer makes it look like he's gonna go John Wick on everyone.
Yeah.
And from the reviews I've read, it's actually it's more of a mourning and loss.
Yeah.
And he does a phenomenal job. And so interesting thing but then the one before that was Willy's Wonderland, and I heard horrible reviews on that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
And then we should have gone with actually though. What was the biker one?
Oh, Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. Those are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Want to get that sarcastic meter going again. But nothing sarcastic about Star Wars.
Oh, I forgot about this one. The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Okay. Guilty pleasure. Kind of liked it.
Kind of liked it?
Kind of liked it. Yeah.
That was a hard one to sit through.
I kind of liked it.
It was a hard one to sit through.
I think it was I forget what the supporting actor's name was, but I liked him.
Yeah.
And he was kind of funny. And yeah, it was at the tail end of Cage's movies. And I think it was a video I took my wife to a movie, and she didn't like she doesn't like violent movies. And so she liked it. So I was like, okay, I like Nicolas Cage, and
yeah,
I could kind of get behind it. But yeah, everything was Disney kooky.
Yeah.
I think we even owned it on like DVD for a while, and then I sold it to a pawn shop.
Yep.
I bought it for $20 and sold it for $2.
Let's see.
But we do have one more game story.
But you know what? We haven't even mentioned the line that he's probably most well known for. I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, I thought it was going to be the Wicker Man, where it's like the bees.
No, we didn't even mention National Treasure.
Okay, that's another good Disney. I love the first one. I honestly do like I love the first one. I thought the first. I thought the first one was a very fun, clever.
Yeah.
This is great. I thought the second one was a little far-fetched.
It was reaching, but
it was reaching.
You say far-fetched in like the first one made sense.
Yeah.
Like, well, come on.
The first one, okay, was a little bit more believable. Of like, okay, there's a secret, and then the second one was like, no, these masons somehow made this perfect replica of a rock that's lasted hundreds of years, and these staircases that's been going on, and there's another buried treasure. Like, okay, that one's kind of hard, but I could believe a code possibly written on the back of the Declaration of Independence from invisible ink.
Yeah,
maybe. Okay, it was fun. The second one was a little far-fetched. The third one, which they were trying to plan for years, yeah. I would still watch a third one. I would still watch a third one.
I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
I feel like it's invested. An obligation.
Yeah, it's like watching another Star Wars movie.
Right.
I gotta watch it.
I have to watch it. Even though I haven't liked any of the main ones since Jedi.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not going to go to the theater, but I'll stream it.
Rogue One and Solo, I'm fully on board. I loved those movies.
I did not like Solo.
You didn't like Solo? I loved Solo. I thought it was great.
I watched.
Was it as good as Rogue One? I don't think so.
No. Rogue One was okay. It's not. I thought it was the best of all of the prequels. Anything prequel and new Star Wars, Rogue One is the best.
Yeah. I even feel like Rogue One belongs with the original trilogy.
As to tell the story.
To tell the... I mean, it happens literally moments before A New Hope. Yeah. I mean, you see the cruiser taking off. And so it's like, you fade from one credit into the other. Like, it belongs in the old trilogy. But I don't just say it belongs in the old trilogy chronologically. I think it belongs to stand up with the old trilogy, and I liked it better than New Hope. I liked it just as well as I did Empire Strikes Back and Jedi.
No,
I really did. No. I thought it was that caliber, and I thought Solo, while not as good, was still a fantastic story.
I was highly disappointed in Solo. I don't think the guy who played Solo. I just didn't believe it was Han. That was the problem. I guess if it was a different character, I could believe it.
I didn't quite believe he was Han with, holy crap, how did they get Lando to look that young?
He played a great Lando.
Donald Glover, my God.
Donald Glover played a great Lando. I think they're even doing like a series.
They're doing a Solo series in which Donald Glover and Han Solo will be back doing TV shows. Also, I can't wait for the Obi-Wan show with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
I hope.
That'll be interesting. There's
without George Lucas writing the narrative.
The one thing I will say though, it was like so the thing with Rogue One and even the Mandalorian, they started reintroducing old characters via CGI.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit, right? And then there's plenty of people, but there's some pretty big YouTube videos of deep fakes.
Yeah.
It makes me sit there and wonder, how much could it easily cost someone to hire a unknown actor and then pay Harrison Ford for just his likeness, which they probably already own of the younger versions via Star Wars, and deep fake that character's face on? Because the deep fake YouTube video was so much better on Solo than it was.
So 2 different YouTubers embarked on doing a better, spoiler alert, Luke Skywalker for Mandalorian season 2 finale.
The Mandalorian, yeah.
One of them was hired by Disney. I don't know if you knew that. Corridor Crew did one. Can we do a better deep fake than Disney did for Luke Skywalker? And they completely reshot a stand-in actor who looked the most like Luke, and then deep faked him with what they explained were mistakes made by Disney in the CGI, the AI, and the lighting. Where his face didn't fit the scene. There was shimmering. There were telltale signs of this being a deep fake, and it just didn't look like Mark Hamill. And they redid it and put it to video and did a much better job. There was another YouTuber, and forgive me, I'm forgetting this one's name, but he did it as a solo project, just using the original Disney footage and deep faked a young Mark Hamill onto him. He ended up getting hired by Disney. As a visual artist. Yeah, so he also did the solo one. Mm-hmm. So he got hired as a visual artist. Yeah, that makes me, because he did the Leia one for Rogue One. He did the Han Solo and the Mandalorian. After the Mandalorian, they hired him. Yeah, I think he actually is now contracted for the Mandalorian as a graphic artist. And again, I forget his name, but his work is amazing. If you're ever looking for some of the best deep fake work, just Google the stuff that we're talking about. Mandalorian deep fake, you'll see it.
Mandalorian deep fake or Princess Leia deep fake. Yeah, it's going to be the number one. Yeah, guaranteed.
I said this. I think we'll close with this. So number one, Knights of the Old Republic getting a remake. Not a remaster, not a re-release, a remake. Ground up, they are remaking Knights of the Old Republic. I'm excited.
It's a fun game.
It's a phenomenal game. It's one of the best Star Wars games ever. It needs a remaster at this point. It certainly doesn't have modern control schemes or resolution support or anything that we're kind of used to creature comfort-wise as far as modern games go. But one of the best overall Star Wars games from a renaissance of Star Wars gaming on the PC. So I can't wait for the KOTOR remake. But I think we'll leave with this. And that is, I said at the time that Rogue One came out that while they did a pretty decent job of Governor Tarkin, or General Tarkin, Grand Moff Tarkin. There we go. Yeah. I knew I'd get the title eventually. Governor Tarkin. No, Grand Moff Tarkin. While they did a pretty decent job, and I'm being a little generous with decent because I still knew every single frame was 100% CGI.
It looked like a video game. It looked like a high-end video game.
Now, to be fair, it looked way better than the animations we get in video games. The clothing kind of flowed naturally. The lighting was correct. It
still had too much of that shimmery glow, though.
It had a little too much glossiness. It had a little too much. There's a rigidity in CGI that you can't get rid of. The human body is never stationary. It's never A to B. You know, there are so many variances and accelerations in every single part of the body and the face and facial expressions that it's immediately obvious if something is CGI. And I thought they did an absolutely terrible job with Leia.
Oh, yeah.
Where, it kind of looked like Leia if I kind of squinted a little bit.
If it was like 720p resolution,
but that was definitely no. You'd have to go lower than that. You'd have to start interlacing crap.
If it was Cam, Cam, it was like, oh,
right. It wasn't a good CGI, and there's the uncanny valley of using characters or trying to create things that your brain will accept. And one thing the brain really doesn't accept well is let's go back to Mario. Let's go back to Mario inside of Minecraft. Is physics that are incorrect. Your brain automatically knows how gravity works. And so when you watch a superhero movie and the villain jumps off of a building and he falls faster than he should, your brain knows. And you go, that looks fake.
Yeah.
Regardless of how good the graphics are and how good and detailed the reflections in his armor and little ripples. And if he jumps off a building...
Unless he's hurling himself downward...
Right. If he jumps off a building and falls... Gravity. You know how fast gravity works, and your brain will tell you that's fake. When I look at the Princess Leia CGI at the end of Rogue One, my brain immediately went, that's not Carrie Fisher. That's fake. Yeah. And it's a hard thing to get by. Now, with deep fakes, with a stand-in actor, with real body motion, with real body movement, and simply laying over things tracked on a human face, you can get really, really darn close to the point of approaching the uncanny valley of, I don't know if that's real or not. Yeah. And that's kind of my point.
Well, that's also like with the whole de-aging graphics that are out now. You know, there was the Quentin Tarantino.
Some of them are fantastic.
Some of them are, but when they take it too far, it's like way obvious.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you should have, and this is the problem, is people are so, Hollywood has yet to embrace the deep fake software.
Yeah.
And I think it will catch on. And I think that is going to make actors de-aging and aging and it's viewable. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It still has yet to catch on yet.
I agree. So that's my thoughts on end of on deepfake versus CGI as it pertains to movies. Is your brain will tell you if it's not real enough, and you just need to trust it, because you can look at Marvel movies, and when Iron Man jumps out of a building and he falls too fast, even though he does the superhero landing and the reflection on his armor is just perfect, I go, man, that's entirely CG, and I don't like it. When I watched The Matrix Revolutions in theaters for the first time, and you had the Million Agent Smith scene, that was some of the worst CGI I had ever seen in my life, even though it was critically acclaimed as like, that's amazing. It's like, no, it looked god-awful.
It was horrible.
It looked awful in theaters in 1999.
Yeah.
It was that bad. But it was horrible.
Yeah.
And it's because everything in that scene, my brain said, that's not real. That's not the way a human moves. That's not the way gravity works. That's not the way rain works. That's not the way his coat would flow around him. Everything about the physics in that scene, sped up or slowed down, were just inherently wrong. And it was 1999. It was early CGI, but it was 100% CGI. And you knew.
Yeah. No, So I am looking forward to the deepfake software. Unfortunately, the really creepy part about it is theoretically you can start. It's so good you can theoretically start putting faces where they actually don't belong. But for Hollywood, like resurrecting old actors and actresses and putting them in roles, it is such a possibility. And having them classically done just for cameos. Or even now, I think right now we're at the point of cameo bait. But soon, I think it could be, like I was saying, you just have a method actor to kind of portray as really good, but maybe looks nothing like the guy.
Right.
And then they put a deep fake of an old, because there's plenty of archive of someone's film, and you can put them over. I think they even did it with like, not Speed Runner. What was the Harrison Ford movie? Where he's the detective.
Reliance?
Never mind.
No.
Never mind. But they didn't. Blade Runner. Oh,
Blade Runner.
I was going to say Speed Runner, but Blade Runner, because he came out with the new one.
Yeah.
And, but they did some, again, with Corridor Crew, they did the girl. That was a great CGI. If anyone ever watched that, that whole example of the girl from the original one, his love interest, is 100% CGI.
Yeah.
And she looks real.
Yeah.
And I know they spent thousands upon thousands of dollars to recreate that just CGI, but she looks fantastic.
Yeah.
But probably could have been done for a lot cheaper with just some deepfake. So
anyway, John, you missed a beer story. Believe it or not.
I did?
You missed a beer story.
What did I miss?
So Alan sends over $5 Australian. I think those spend like normal dollars, even though I don't know the dollar-redo conversion right now. Not going to cover the inspiration for beer hops in space and supporting kids with cancer.
What?
Right? So I pulled it up. Now, this is from a couple of weeks ago. But apparently, SpaceX, they introduced their first 4 private astronaut crew. The first fully civilian crew to man a spacecraft will be going up. In their cargo hold is a set of hops that will be auctioned off for charity.
Jeff, we were talking about this story 2 weeks ago.
Did we?
Yes, I didn't miss it.
Okay.
I did not miss it.
When did I miss it?
No, you even talked about. I think you were on with Steve.
I had to.
It wasn't a show with me.
Okay.
But I found this one. Yes. No.
Okay.
We did talk about it. Yeah. They auctioned off. It's a private. I think it was. So it wouldn't have been 3. It would have been 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Which lines up with the story.
Gotcha.
But we did talk about it. But it is a very, very cool story. It is a private, the very first private SpaceX. And he's taking up, I believe it's like 70 pounds of hops.
We did talk. Okay.
We're going to be auctioning it off.
Same website even. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I need to go back and rewatch that episode.
Great charity, great program that's going to be happening there. I would love to find out which brewery is going to be getting this beer, and then would love to try it. I do have, because this is technically the first hops been truly into space. Most of the other ones that we've ever talked about are basically, they just break the atmosphere. Because Ninkasi does their whole SpaceX ones.
Yeah.
But what that is it's put up in a balloon and just barely breaks the atmosphere and then pops and comes back down.
Right.
So this is going to be truly in space. There has been grain that's been then taken up to space. I believe this is the first hops.
Jeremy says, Jeff must have had some high ABV beers that night. I did. I slammed an entire bomber of barley wine.
Yes.
I remember that show now. I had the Mother of All Storms 2020.
Yes.
That makes sense why I don't remember speaking about it. Anyway, speaking of space grains, I do have some vodka that has been to space in the 10 Forward vodka from the Star Trek Wines collection.
Vodka Spirits collection.
Yeah. Well, it's the Star Trek Wines is the website, and then they have a whole line of spirits. It's from the same... It's a company that does cinematic inspired alcoholic
Did you get your new wine?
I have not received my Canar yet.
So, interesting thing, Jeff.
Yeah.
If you want, I ordered mine, and this came out roughly around the same time as my anniversary with my wife, and my wife knows how big of a fan I am, and I did not tell her I bought some, and she surprised me by saying she bought me some, the exact same pack, so I have duplicates.
I bought 2 bottles of the Canar. So
I have 2 Canar and 2 Andorian ales.
Yes.
So I have duplicates to open.
Yes.
Picard season 2.
I think February is a lock.
Yes. So we might do that.
Make it so.
And on that note, I think that's a great note to end.
That's exactly right. Thank you all so much for watching episode 201 of Talking Heads. That feels really weird to say. Maybe that's what screwed me up in the intro of this video. If you like this episode, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already, follow me on Twitter at Craft Computing, and if you like the beer content on this show, and who doesn't, make sure to check out Hops and Brews over on Twitter or YouTube, who does a lot of that same content, and a fantastic job of it, I might add.
Thank you, sir.
Make sure to look us up on Patreon or Floatplane to get exclusive access to our Discord server, where you can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and take part in the awesome and ever-growing community that hangs out over there. Make sure to check out craftcomputing.store. Get yourself a pretty spiffy little pint glass.
And drink like the pros.
Drink like the pros. As well as, t-shirts, stickers, bottle openers, all the usual fare that people like to merch. And pretty soon we will be coming out with some more and honestly some pretty fun t-shirts. So make sure to stay tuned to craftcomputing.store. Catch us every Wednesday night here at 8 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube for the latest in beer and tech news. And as always, we will see you next Wednesday. Cheers, everyone.